And this is the astrological forecast for the sign of Scorpio for 2023. Now, as with everything Scorpio, you don't do things by half measures. You either stay in the background, invisible to everyone, or else you're out there and you're taking direct action. 2023 is classic Scorpio year in that for 11 months of the year, most of you are just in the background, invisible. And then for 1 month, and it happens to be the month that the sun is in Scorpio, you're going to be at your most incisive, concise, and where necessary, ruthless. So let's look at what's going on and what's not going on. Firstly, the annual new moon in Scorpio will be on the 13th of November. And we will come back to that date in a bit because that's a cracker. The full moon in Scorpio this year will be a partial eclipse of the moon, and it will take place on the 5th of May. Mercury will pass into Scorpio on the 22nd of October, and then it will stay there for about 2.5 weeks, leaving on the 10th of November. Venus will move into Scorpio on the 4th of December and stay there until the 29th of December. It'll be high in the sky, it'll be the morning star, getting higher and more visible. Mars will move into Scorpio on the 12th of October and it will stay there until the 24th of November. So over that period, 12th October, 24th of November, Mars is going to pass on the sun of every single one of you. And there's going to be a few of you who are really going to get triggered by this. So when Mars comes into Scorpio, prepare yourself because there's going to be a lot of energy available. And if you use it, you'll be able to be much more effective, sharper, focused, concise, accurate. You'll be able to get things done in a way that's uber efficient and effective. And if you don't use it and it uses you, then you're going to be like a red hot sledgehammer bashing everyone around you. Everyone's going to take umbrage with you and there's going to be a lot of potential problems, challenges, difficulties, even bumps, bangs, burns, broken bones. So forewarned is forearmed. When Mars moves into Scorpio, you need to focus on getting your priorities right and being at your sharpest. And this will be 12th of October to the 24th of November. Let's look at the outers though, because every single one of the outer planets in the sky is going to be affecting you, some of them in a very positive way. Let's first of all look at the ones that aren't. Jupiter starts the year in early Aries and it will stay in Aries for the first 4.5 months of the year, but then it will move into Taurus around, Jupiter moves into Taurus around middle of May. From mid-May onwards through to the end of the year, Jupiter is going to be opposite the sun for those of you born on or before the 7th of November. So it'll be easy to exaggerate and let things get out of proportion as you get into the second seven months of the year. It's not a major deal. It may bring travel opportunities. It can bring good financial opportunities, but in every case, it will promise more than it delivers. So if you go for the quality and not the quantity, you'll be fine. Saturn starts the year in Aquarius, and in the first 9 weeks of the year, Saturn's going to be squaring the sun of those of you born from the 15th of November onwards. So if you're one of these people, then the first 9 or 10 weeks of the year through to the second week of March, not a good time. A time to stay at home, stay beneath the radar screen, do the filing, do the accounts, weed, prune, streamlining, clear the decks, release and let go of things and people and situations and environments that are past their sell-by date and have reached the end of their shelf life. Do this, you'll be glad you did. After this, Saturn then moves into Pisces, and here we're looking at everybody born on or before the 31st of October as being on the receiving end of some lovely energy from Saturn, because sometimes Saturn is the good guy. And if you're an October Scorpio, then the time from mid-March onwards should be a year of steady, stable, consistent, regular and healthy movement forward, especially when it comes to the professional and the financial ways of dealing with things. This will work well. Uranus will be in your opposite sign of Taurus. This is year 5 of a 7-year process, so there's going to be a lot of big changes here. Initially this is going to be impacting on the lives of those of you born around the 8th, 9th, 10th of November, but this has been going on throughout 22, and this will conclude around March, April. So if you're one of these people born around the 8th, 9th, 10th of November, then grin and bear it, because by the time you're into March, April, things would have calmed down and much of the crisis would have moved on. However, from that time onwards, Uranus will then oppose the Sun of those of you born on the 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th even of November. And these are the people, there's going to be changes, big changes, and they're going to be quite radical and quite sudden. So the way you deal with them is up to you. Most people will go, I can't deal with change, I want everything to stay exactly the same, and they'll hide under the bed, and then the bed will collapse on top of them. If you run away from a change, you will get trashed. Whereas if you flow with the go and you surf the wave of change, you'll find it's going to get rid of a lot of the old baggage, and it's going to liberate you from your past, free up, and bring a lot of new stimulating, innovative, futuristic and original opportunities that should be a lot of fun. But without change, you get entropy and decay. Scorpios aren't known for their flexibility. So if you're one of these people born from the 11th to the 15th, you need to be open to change by the time you're into May, June onwards. Because without it, you might find you're on the receiving end of some unwelcome attentions. Neptune's doing wonderfully. Neptune's trining the Sun of those of you born around the 18th, 19th, 20th of November. Very nice year for you. You're going to be on the receiving end of some very creative, imaginative, even quasi-spiritual energies, and that should work in a lovely way. And Pluto will be sextiling the Sun of those of you born around the 20th, 21st, 22nd of November. Again, deep psychological insight both into yourselves and into the world and people around you. Really good space to be able to make things happen. A degree of resilience and perseverance and very penetrative insight. This is where your inner private detective comes to the fore. But there are some pretty big trigger points here. 2 in particular. Firstly, the period around the very end of October. 27, 28, particularly 29th of October. Now on the 29th of October, there'll be a big conjunction of the Moon and Mars opposite Jupiter. What this means is that those of you born around the 4th, 5th of November, you're likely to find, maybe 3rd, 4th of November, you're likely to find that at the very end of October, you're all going to get your buttons pushed, and it'd be very easy for you to overreach, overstretch, bite off more than you can chew, and buy into the hype and spin and get caught up in stuff which is actually nothing to do with you. So forewarned is forearmed. Shortly after that, we get to what I see as the most stinker point of the year, the new moon in Scorpio on the 13th of November. Sun conjunct Moon, conjunct Mars, opposite Uranus. This is one of the 2 most explosive times of the year. This is for the whole world, not just for you Scorpios. And all of you are going to come under pressure at this time, but particularly those of you born around the 12th, 13th, 14th of November. There's going to be a lot of high octane electrical pressure, stress and challenge at this time, and you'll all feel very electrical, and the wise person at this time will think and count to 10 before saying or doing anything, because if there's going to be a headless chicken time in 2023, this is when it's going to be, 13th of November. It's the most difficult new moon of the year, not because it's underhand or nasty, but because it's impulsive and volatile. Forewarned is forearmed. But for all of you, you can be powerful or you can be power filled. If you're powerful, you're trying to control it. Then it gets corrupt and you become corrupt. If you're power filled, it flows through you. You're the conduit, not the owner. May you all have an increasingly power filled year.